Three. And good morning to our West Coast listeners, and welcome to those listening on Sirius XM, Channel 126, The Urban View, where talk empowers and becomes action. I'm coming to you live from our I'm coming to you live from Atlanta, Georgia, from WAOK in Atlanta, 1380 AM, where I just left National Action Network headquarters, meeting with some of the housing activists and student leaders around the question of gentrification here in Atlanta. And it is happening all over the country. Mary Pat Hector, our National Youth Director, has been on this issue and convened a group that really is on top of this issue. And I'll be meeting with Mary Pat and the mayor here while I'm here to really deal with the gravity of this issue. Let me say that it is also very, very important that as we deal with the issues that surround the nation, that we not forget at any point that our community has very distinct and very specific issues that relate to us. Gentrification and removal is one. Certainly police misconduct is one. The Attorney General in state of Louisiana announced today they will not prosecute the two officers that killed Alton Sterling in Baton Rouge a couple of years ago. I went and spoke at that funeral on my way to Sacramento to speak at the funeral of this young man that was just killed in Sacramento, California. And I think that we have got to be on every front, active in every way to get justice done. And of course, justice is not something that's going to happen overnight. It's going to take a struggle. I said before leaving New York this morning that every time I get discouraged, I think about those that fought longer and harder against worse odds. And Linda Brown, who was the lead plaintiff in the Brown versus Board of Education, 1954, the year I was born, passed on yesterday. Suppose if they had said to her, oh, they've been trying to deal with segregation of schools for decades. You'll never get that, but they didn't give up, and she won that. We can't give up. We've got to continue to fight, even when it looks impossible. We've got to be more determined than those that oppose us. So we're on the ground here in Atlanta, going to deal with that today. Then, of course, Sacramento on Thursday, the funeral, and, of course, at the same time, preparing to deal with these midterm elections, which is going to determine who the lawmakers are going to be going forward. So the gun legislation and the affordable housing legislation and policing, all of that is depending on the lawmakers. That's why, as I travel, I'm encouraging everybody to be at the National Action Network convention as we lay out an action plan in all these areas and hear from everyone, from Charles Blow of the New York Times to Chris Matthews of Hardball to Chris Hayes of All In with Chris Hayes, MSNBC, to Angela Rye of CNN, to Senators Elizabeth Warren and Bernie Sanders and Cory Booker and Kamala Harris, as they lay out the facts and their recommendations, but then we lay out our action plan in these areas. We do not have the luxury of not dealing with things in a concrete way based on the right facts and then an action plan with achievable goals and an adult maturity knowing those goals will only be achieved if we're determined for the long run hang in there and make them happy. And that is, I think, our challenge. A lot of people want a one-shot deal. I'm saying we need it all, and we need it all in a all-in, no backing up kind of way. We're going to take your calls today at 1-877-532-5797, 1-877-532-5797, Twitter.com, The Rev Al, Twitter.com, The Rev Al. I think it is important that we talk about what is going on. A lot in the national news about Trump finally taking a hard line on the Russians around the poisoning on the soil on the soil of UK to deal with an ex-spy or ex-Russian spy and his daughter. But he said nothing in taking a hard line about Russian interference with the 2016 election. He said nothing about the intelligence reports that they're going to interfere this year. I need you at National Action Network's convention. Go right now to www.nationalactionnetwork.net and pre-register www.nationalactionnetwork.net. And I think that it is imperative that we be prepared and on top of this and deal with these issues in a very proactive way. A lot of us do a lot of talking, but do we and are we prepared to do the work and the long haul? And I believe that it is, in my opinion, and I think that it is the opinion of many, that they think they can overwhelm us. But some of us are just as smart or smarter than the opposition, just as determined or more determined than the opposition, and just as willing to sacrifice in order to fight, just like the opposition is ready to fight. They fought all the way from the moral majority to the Tea Party, and they kept coming until they finally got through Donald Trump. They didn't reverse this stuff overnight. We won't be able to slam their reverse and go through if we're not willing to pay and sacrifice the same ways. We have no choice. When you can see young men, 22 unarmed, shot in the grandmama's backyard, we have no choice. When we see a criminal justice system that was under Obama commuting sentences and was under Obama moving toward police reform and in incremental ways, but in the right direction, and now they reversed all that, we have no choice. When we are seeing our own funds, pension funds, being used to remove us from our communities because they invest them with developers that are in that business and could care less about the history and the family traditions that they're uprooting. We have no choice but to fight. You can join the fight, or the fight's coming to you anyhow, and you're going to wish you had for it. So let's open up the phones, 1-877-532-5797, 1-877-532-5797, or tweet us at twitter.com, The Rev Al, twitter.com, The Rev Al. And I think that it is extremely important that we on the airwaves at this time. Let me, of course, welcome our Sirius XM 126 listeners. And again, I'm so happy we are on there in Detroit. and with the mighty Superstation in Detroit. Let's take a break. 9:10 a.m. Superstation in Detroit. We're going to take a break. We'll be right back. Keeping it real. Shopton in ATL, y'all. Be right back.